Hi guys, this is another video. I've got this Mountfield lawnmower which I'm having a look at. Just look inside the tank here, you saw what kind of bits in it. It won't start. It's just one I found on the street. So I'm gonna have a look at that today. I've already removed the carburetor and undone the fuel tank, which incorporates the carburetor, which I've removed here. As you can see, someone's painted the whole thing matte black for some reason or another. So like I said before, the fuel tank and the carburetor are kind of built as one. So here you can see me just removing the carburetor. It's just 6 bolts around the side. Just fast forward this section. It's just 6 bolts around the side, and then the carburetor should just lift up. It's a plastic carburetor. Just lift away with the gasket, you see, try not to damage it. That's the carburetor there. You see the gasket underneath, along with all kind of bits of grass and what's not. So I'll just peel that away. Okay. You can see on the carburetor here, there's bits inside the float chamber. I'll just highlight that for you there. Just freeze frame that. There's bits inside here, which is the float chamber, bits of grass and what's not. So I'm gonna have to sort that out, give the whole thing a clean out. And so what I'm gonna do is just tip the contents of the fuel tank up. It looks like more like water than fuel that's in there, along with some bits and pieces, which would obviously cause an obstruction. So here's the carburetor. Just gonna give it a bit of a clean. It's got the gasket on the bottom there. So what I'm gonna do is just peel this gasket away. Try not to damage it. Want to reuse it. And there's a spring. Just remove the spring for the pump. And that's the unit there. Just remove this gauze filter, uptake filter also. Catches all the muck from the float chamber. Okay, so what I'm going to do is give this whole thing a clean. Just get a bucket and of soap, and I'm just going to give the whole thing a clean. And then eventually I'm going to have to dry the whole thing out entirely. But here you can see me just giving it a clean. Like I said, someone's sprayed the whole thing matte black. Sprayed the whole thing matte black for some reason or another. So I'll give that carburetor clean. Scrub it off. In the meantime, I'm just going to look at this fuel tank. It's got bits inside it, so what I'm going to do is just pour some fairy liquid inside it once, because I've tipped the fuel out. And then I'm just going to hose and blast the whole thing out. Give it a good clean. Give the float chamber a clean there also. And you can see, just giving it clean. Just swipe forwards, you'll see the water becomes clear. All the soap's gone. Just a matter of tipping all this out, all the water and whatever's in there. Just tipping it all out. And as you can see here, the float chamber is nice and clean, but also there's damage to this little mounting here. It's cracked and loose. I'm gonna have to have a look at that at some stage. You can see inside the tank there, it's just got water in it now, all the little bits are gone, so I'm gonna have to dry that out. Okay, so there's some stickers on the tank. I'm just peeling them off here. They've been painted also. Like I said, someone sprayed the whole thing. So what I'm going to try and do is get this paint off of the stickers so you can see what they say. So I'm just putting it in a tub of hot water here. Left it soak for a bit. Then I'm just going to go through with a brush and see if I can scrape all the paint off. As you can see, I'm being successful here as the paint's coming off, exposing the label. As you can see there, safety warning label. All the paint's just coming off. And I'll do the same with the small label that was on the top. That was completely black. As you can see, I managed to scrub that also. All the paint's coming off to reveal prime to pump and Briggs Stratton. That's what that label is. So I've got them nice and clean there. Got all the paint off. Just move this thing out of the way so I can show you. See, I've got the paint off the labels now. So I'm gonna at some stage re-stick them back onto the tank. I'm cleaning the tank here. It's getting rid of all the paint, only off the top. But as you saw there, somehow I managed to clip the broken mount, which is flicked off. Just picked it up. So I'm gonna have to sort that out later on. In the meantime, I'm just gonna carry on cleaning the top of this tank. Just getting rid of all this paint off the top. With some of it's painted it black. You can see me just using the wire brush just to get rid of the paint, get it nice and shiny on the top here, which I have done. That broken linkage, I'm just going to stick it back in with some super glue because it actually clips in. And you can see I've clipped it back in and just put a bit of super glue around it to seal it. Obviously you're supposed to weld it, but there you go. Okay, so these are the labels. Let me just show you. I've got them nice and clean now. Let me just take them out of this tub and put them out to dry. These are the two labels of the tank. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is just blowing all the holes out, the jet holes for the carburetor on the tank and the actual carburetor itself. Just use my airline to blow out all the water or bits is still stuck in there. And now let's get this gauze filter blow out as well. And now that that's done, I can refit this filter on the bottom of the carburetor and put the spring back on also for the pump. And then I'll just put the gasket on the top of the tank where it goes. If I find the right orientation. That looks more like it. And it's just a matter of reinserting this carburetor. Like I said, I did try to get the black paint off, but just wouldn't budge. So just a matter of putting the screws back in, and I'll fast forward this section also. Just tighten up the 6 screws for the fuel tank. And everything's nice and dry inside and out. You can see there, it's nice and clean inside there. So it's just a matter of fitting it back onto the machine. Just got to sort these linkages out. And then just a matter of fitting the mounting bolts back in. That linkage what I've glued seems to be holding up. And just a matter of tightening up these bolts which hold the tank in place. Okay, it's just a matter of putting some fuel in. It's just unleading in this because it's got a sump. You don't need to put petrol and 2-stroke oil in. Let's put the fuel cap back on. And these are labels. These, see me just put the labels back on. Just sticking them back onto the fuel tank. Got them nice and clean now. And just put that label back on the top and just give you a little close-up of that also. These are the labels there. Push the prime, Briggs Stratton. Okay, So just gonna give it a try. Just gonna prime this pump here, red button on the side, and just crank it over, see if it starts. And you can see I've got it running there. So it may need some fine tuning. What I'm going to do is, being as I've got it running, I might strip the whole thing down and overhaul the whole thing and give it a proper repaint. But just glad to get things up and running. So with that, thanks for watching once again, and please subscribe.